Hello again, everyone. Hope you are well on this Friday afternoon. It's Friday, and we're glad it's Friday for all the working folks that work Monday through Friday. Man, glad we are here. I'm reading 93 degrees right now, but it feels hotter than that, man. Whoa. But anyway, we're in summertime though. We're in starting to get into late July here, if you can believe it. We have a serious crisis. We have several crises going on in the is that a word? In the United States, but we have a cost of living crisis. It's a true crisis, y'all. It's probably worse than you might even imagine. It's worse than a lot of people are talking about. I think more people are going through this than meets the eye, because, if you, depending on where you are, you look around, you go to the stores, you go out driving around, you kind of go to restaurants. There's people in the restaurants. There's people in stores, like there always has been. Now, if you look closely, there's probably some differences. People aren't buying as much. I noticed this. People aren't buying as much. The restaurants aren't quite as crowded as they used to be, or at all. And there's a lot of them closing. A lot of people are living on credit cards. They're living for today. They say life is short, and they're living for today. Yes, life is short, but I think we need to have a balance of, yes, life is short. Live today, do it, but we have to be smart about things, right, too, as well. So we have to be balanced, be smart. Critical thinking. I'm going to go into some things here. The inflation report came out, a couple of days ago or so, and they're gonna throw so much BS at you that it's just laughable. I'm not saying every one of them, but the elected officials in our government are such fraudsters. Guess what? Inflation's going up. Now, the numbers came out for June, and it's still up, 2.7. It's their number. Well, we know it's different from that, of course. But they're saying, hey, it's still going up, but it's not going up as fast as it was going up. That's what the previous administration was trying to do towards the end of their term. Still going up. It's been going up for many years. So I don't see where this is sustainable personally. Ms. Dog and I have been looking at things, and we are doing an action plan, in the middle of an action plan of paying down debt, or as much as we can, and we are making good progress on that. I think that's huge. There's some other things we can do about it too. I'm going to go into that, so bear with me. I have a terrific passage again I'm going to share with you towards the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. It's a good one. But the inflation rate is going up month over month. Not drastically, but it's the cumulative effect. And tariffs, I don't believe we've even seen the effect of tariffs yet. That's still to come. So that's something to think about. Let me let that sink in. Where did it go? Where did prices go up? Just month over month, just from May to June. Food and energy and shelter. The things you need to live. That's why it's cost of living, right? We have a cost of living serious crisis. Food, energy, clothing. Well, food, energy, shelter. Also clothing. Clothing and furniture went up. Services went up. As far as food, beef, one of the biggest increases. Eggs actually went down, so that's good. Beef, among other foods, also eating out, went up sharply. That's no secret if you've gone out to eat anytime recently. Shelter, rent, wages are not keeping up with inflation. They're not coming anywhere close to keeping up with inflation overall. Now, there might be people who say, yes, I've got a good raise and it helps, yes, but it's not keeping up with inflation. So your purchasing power keeps diving. Even though you're making more money. Ms. Dog and I both make more money than we did even a year ago. But even though we're making more money, our purchasing power keeps diving. It keeps going down. It's because of the cost of living crisis. These things keep going up, and they've been going up for a number of years. Salaries are not keeping up. You got a lot of millennials priced out of a home unless they get help from family, what have you. I was talking with a friend, and we're frustrated. You know, our adult children, even though they make good money, they're reluctant to plunk down all this money on owning something. Even though they make good money, if we'd have been making just that equivalent of money 10 years ago, there's no telling what we could afford, right? Like a 6-figure salary, if you're not in the upper regions, it's a struggle. And I tell young folks, including our children, it's like, have a home. It's not just a mortgage. The other things that are weighing us down, and Miss Dog and I feel it more than ever, it's not just that monthly mortgage payment or your rent. And if you own something, it's the property taxes, utilities, maintenance, repairs, homeowners insurance. It all keeps going up and up and up. And we know really the goal here, don't we? We know the goal is to eject you out of it. So some conglomerate can come in, buy up your neighborhood, which will eventually happen and is happening in places. They buy entire neighborhoods and rent them out like dang slumlords. That's what they're doing. And it's being allowed to happen right in front of us. When somebody with a PhD or a professional, healthcare professional, cannot truly afford a place to live, there's something seriously wrong with that. And there's a lot of empty nesters that are stuck like old Chuck. Can't even afford, not realistically, if you even want to downsize or move somewhere else. Depending on your situation, they're all different. Without being in a worse situation, right? We have a debt crisis, y'all, that is spiraling out of control like no other. The national debt, what is it like in the upper, like over 36 trillion right now. Get this now, this is a Glenn Beck, I was watching Glenn Beck video and he threw out some scary statistics, y'all. This is not sustainable, all right? Talk about a spending problem. Our government has had this problem, it's nothing new, but it's getting worse. It's such a spending problem. They raised the debt. So since the debt ceiling was raised on July 3rd, the debt went up $410 billion in just 2 days. 2 days. Almost $500 billion In 2 days, y'all. I'm going to repeat that. Since the debt ceiling was raised up to $41.4 trillion on July 3rd, after this bill, you know which one, the debt went up $410 billion. It's the largest debt crisis we've ever seen, y'all. So the debt ceiling is raised. So now let's spend more money. Yeah. So $2 days, $500 billion. It's out of control. Since 2020, let's go back. In 2020, the debt was $23.2 trillion, y'all. 23.2. Now the debt ceiling has been raised up to $41.4 trillion. That's almost $18 trillion. $18 trillion increase since 2020. That's a 77% increase in the national debt, y'all, in those short few years. At this rate, we will reach the debt ceiling again within 28 months, guys. Current is $36.7 trillion. We would have a debt ceiling crisis every 2 years or sooner. How much do we pay on the interest alone? $1.2 trillion on the interest alone. Guys, that's more than defense budget. That's more than the budget, more than that's being spent on the budget, Medicaid, and veteran programs. Think about that. Let that sink in on you a little bit. Lord Jesus. I mean, let that sink in. You know, I know that bill has some good stuff in it. I mean, we should be able to have a bill to have the good stuff in it, and not have and still not add all this trillions of dollars to the debt. This is the reason that Rand Paul said, "I ain't signing up for that. I ain't voting for that." That's why he didn't vote for it. What do we do about it? What can we do about it? We can keep preparing, of course. Look at your defense tools, the things that go in them. Paying down debt. I talked about that at the outset. Pay down debt. If you're debt free right now, you are tremendously blessed. More power to you, man. I mean, seriously. Pay down what debt you can. Keep praying. Praying is number one. Pay down debt what you can, quick as possible. That's what we're doing. Get our houses in order. What kind of maintenance issues are you going to have coming up? Try to knock it out. It's going to be cheaper now than a few years down the road, or a year down the road. Physical fitness. Physical fitness is huge. It's got to be right up there as priorities right now, y'all. We're working on it. Prayer, physical fitness, pay down debt, keep your preparations going. Also, mental fitness. It's physical fitness and there's mental fitness. Well, what do you mean by mental fitness, dog? Let's work on our attitudes. Let's accept that change is coming. Change is coming in this nation. Maybe even all of North America. You can lump Canada in there probably too. You know, instead of retiring the traditional way people have done in the past, Ms. Dog and I have come to a realization, probably an acceptance. We're trying to we've accepted the fact that retirement's going to be looking something. I don't even know if you could call it retirement. It's more of a shift into some other work-life balance. But you've got to to keep up. We can keep up with it now, but 10 years from now, you can still be able to keep up, or you can still be able to work. What can you do to make that easier? Pay down debt. Let's stay physically fit as possible. This nation is becoming third world right before our eyes, y'all. Right before our eyes. Go to the place, the neighborhood that you grew up in, if you can, or look at it on Google. And in many cases, not every case, look at the place you grew up in, went to school, where you used to work, where you used to spend a lot of time in. Go look at it now. Go look at it. What does it look like? What does it look like? Let me know. Now, again, I know that's not in every case, but in many cases, and I would say in the majority of cases, it is. I know with us it is. We have major changes coming. Like every day. Miss Dog and I were looking at budget and stuff last night, and it's like, homeowners, if you really, it's almost depressing when you really dive into it, and it's like you don't want to look. I don't want to look at it, but I need to look. I got to look at it. We've got to tackle it. You got to have a plan. If you own a home, depending on where you are, if it's not paid for, well, even if it's paid for, you got property taxes. You got to have insurance on it. Homeowner's insurance, your property taxes. That alone. What a beatdown. What a beatdown. And you're supposed to like it, right? And you an automobile, if you need an automobile insurance. What a scam. Health insurance, what a scam. What a dang scam. What a racket. Got to be one of the biggest ones out there. I don't know. I'll hear some flack. I don't care. What a racket. All right, I'm just rambling here. I'm going to go to a passage. You know what? I'm going to share two good news items real quick. If you're still with me, I'm making it worth it, all right? Not that this is going to lower your bills right now, but okay. Well, if you're in Georgia, it might help you. I'll get to that. Former Voice of America employee is being indicted. He's being indicted on threats made to Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Georgia Representative. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been threatening this poor woman, since 2023, all the way up to January of this year, threatening to eliminate her as well as her family, as well as her staff. Isn't that nice? Not? So they said Capitol Police have been investigating this for a while. Judge Janine, she used to be on Fox News. She's awesome. But she was holding a press conference saying they've indicted this good dude and they're gonna throw everything at him they can. I hope they do. She will. I trust she will. But that's what they got to do to these people, man. It's just making threats, because this is going to continue, and my concern is somebody's going to carry out this stuff, and we're going to have a really terrible thing happen. That's my fear. That's my concern. But I'm glad they're getting this guy. Also, if you live in Georgia, I saw a little piece that said that this was shared with me, that there's a new Georgia Senate committee being created to look at eliminating the state income tax. I could go along with that. I ain't holding my breath about it, but at least somebody's talking about it up there. I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, I'm going to go to a passage. We are in Psalm still. I'm still in Psalm. Psalm 19. My good buddy Nick, my Australian buddy, shared this one with me the other day. Psalm 19, starting verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, restoring the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The precepts of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true. They are righteous altogether. They are more desirable than gold. Yes, than much pure gold. Sweeter also than honey and drippings of the honeycomb. The judgments of the Lord are true. They are righteous altogether. They are more desirable than gold, y'all. More pure than gold. Sweeter than honey from a honeycomb. Amen. We've got to stay close to him, y'all. We got to keep our relationship. We got to keep our faith. That's number one. That's where it all starts and everything flows from there. That's the first priority. Stay close to Jesus, our Savior. Keep that relationship. It's huge, y'all. Let's keep in prayer. Be safe going into a weekend. Be careful out there. God bless y'all. I'll see you soon.